Hi, this is a video on how to complete our tax return checklist. So from our website, you will enter your name, uh, best email address for you, and your current address. This is just to make sure that we always have up-to-date contact information from you, um, so that we can keep everything on file. We then have to get two forms of ID from you for money laundering purposes. Photo ID can be a passport or a driving license, and proof of address could be your driving license if you've used your passport for photo ID, or a utility bill, any sort of letter from HMRC or anything like that recently within the last 6 months. So then you can just upload those documents very quickly for us. And then we go on to some screener questions. So as you answer these questions, the form will then give more options to complete later down. Realistically, this is just a starting point to make sure that we ask all clients the right sort of questions to make sure that we capture all the information. Please don't get too sort of bogged down in the detail, if you like. Really, if you can just sort of get the bare bones and the data to us, we'll then pick up from then and then sort of speak to you to carry on. So the first question is, do you have any employment income? So if you're in an employed job, you have a P60 at the end of the year. Otherwise, it's a P45 if you left employment midway through the year. You should have these documents available. If that's the case, you would answer yes. And then down here, it's just going to say employment income. Question, did you work from home? Yes or no at any point during the year? And then you'll just have the option to go and upload your P45, P60s. A P11D is if you get any sort of benefits from your job. So things like medical insurance, company car, any sort of subscriptions that they may pay for on your behalf. And also if you've had any expenses related to your job, some people will have subscriptions that they have to pay that their employer doesn't reimburse them for. You can just enter some notes in this section here. If you left jobs partway through the year, or maybe you have more than one job, you can then answer this question here, and then it will give you sort of more questions here to upload another document. If you don't have any self-employment, or sorry, any employment, you'd answer no, and then there would be nothing on the form at that stage. If you're self-employed during the year, you'd answer yes to that question. And then it would ask you, can you give us a bank statement for the year just so that we can check your income and expenses? If you've got any sort of spreadsheets that you may use to track your income and expenses. Alternatively, if you use Xero, just let us know by answering yes, and then we can sort of jump in to get your information. Again, don't get too sort of bogged down in this. If you literally have self-employed income, answer yes to the question, don't upload any documents, and just submit it to us down here, and then we can pick up and sort of guide you through the rest of the process. Then we have, do you receive a private pension? So this is typically anyone sort of receiving their retirement pension. You might have your UK state pension. And again, this is just to sort of answer those questions to help us complete the tax return accurately. And then that would give a section here where you could say, did you get state pension? Yes or no? And then the amount. And then did you get any pension, private pensions? So for example, you might have Aviva where you had £6,000 from a P60 that they gave you. And then you could also upload a copy of that P60 for us as well. So it's really helping us get all this information in a streamlined way. If that's not the case, you press no. Bank interest typically hasn't been so much of a problem, but now the interest rates are going up. People are starting to get a bit more. So we do need to know what bank interest you get. You can ask your bank for certificates of interest. These will take a bit of time to come. Alternatively, you can just look at your bank statement, and nowadays you can type in and search for, say, interest, and it will give you a snapshot of 12 payments, and you can add them up. So again, if you answer yes to that, it'll just give you a section here. So you might get some bank interest from NatWest, I don't know, £50. You might have some from Santander, might be 45. You might have another NatWest house savings or something like that. And if that's the case, you just sort of add them all in there. You can also then upload your certificates of interest as well. We do need to know if you're saving quite a bit of interest for your children, because potentially that could become taxable back on you. So if you've got any interest by children, again, just let us know, and then you can upload any certificates for their bank accounts as well. Then question 5 is dividend income. So obviously, if we do your limited company accounts, you don't really need to tell us your dividend income because we'll get that from the accounts. But if you could just answer yes, that would be helpful for us. Also, if you get any dividend income from stocks and shares that aren't in an ISA, so you might have some BP shares, something like that. So you'd have some shares, you can say from BP, and you had a dividend of £125 perhaps. And then you might have got one from Shell for, I don't know, £50. So again, just sort of helping us to have that information. Alternatively, if you've got the dividend vouchers, you've got a consolidated tax voucher or something like that, again, you can upload the documents to us there from the form. So that will help. Then question 6 is rental income. So if you've got a rental property, you can upload a spreadsheet that you may have worked on for us. Alternatively, you can let us know the rental income, whether you've got any rates, insurance, ground rent, legal and professional fees, your mortgage interest, all that sort of stuff. And then you can put all that together for us. That would be great. Alternatively, just send us your managing agent statements in this upload document, and then that will help us. Then some clients may have had crypto gains or losses. So some clients believe that just because you haven't taken the money out of Coinbase, for example, that you haven't actually made a gain. That's strictly not correct. If you've come out of Bitcoin and bought Ethereum and then sold your Ethereum and gone back to Bitcoin, you have actually made a gain and a disposal at that point. So it can get complex. HMRC are going to start asking questions on this in the future. So if you have been sort of involved in cryptocurrencies, please do speak to us just so that we can start trying to help you get the information correct so that we don't run into problems later on. So again, if you've answered yes, really that's just giving us a narrative, and then we'll be in touch with more detail. Capital gains in the year. You might have sold a business, you might have sold a second property that you've had, potentially with the mortgage rates going up. Quite a few clients are selling properties at the moment. You might have had some shares that you've sold. And if that's the case, again, you can complete the stocks and shares when you bought them, when you sold them, and any costs. And also, if you had any residential property, you can just sort of fill in these boxes and whether you've declared them to HMRC already. So again, it can look quite complex, lots of questions. Realistically, it's great if you can fill all this out for us, but all I'd really ask is that if you've made a capital gain, just answer yes to the question, and then again, we can pick up from there. But it's some questions that you can sort of dig out the information for us to help you, but we're more than happy to guide you through it. Question 9 is private pension contributions from net earnings. So if you receive your net wages and then you actually make additional pension contributions, this is what we're interested in here. So if that's the case, you can then just let us know that you made pension payments to, I don't know, Royal London, and you've done maybe £100 a month, so £1,200 for the year, and then we can sort of put that on your tax return. The key thing here is to give us the amount that physically left your bank statement. Typically with private pensions, the pension company will add the tax top up, and it's not the grossing figure that I'm interested in, it's the net amount at the bottom. And then we've got question 10 is, Have you made any gift aid donations? So if this is yes, then you'd say that you've done it to where it went, and then again, the actual amount that left your bank statement. If you do say £5 a month, please just let us know £60 for the year, because this won't give you the option of putting in a long form amount. So again, the total for the tax year in question is what we're looking for here. Then we have, do you get any child benefit? If this is yes, then we need to know if any parent earns more than £50,000 a year. This can have an impact on your tax return, and again, it's just a question that we're asking. And then if you have student loans, we need to know about that, whether it's Plan 2, Plan 4, Plan 1. We can then make the relevant entry on your tax return. Then we need to know if you or your partner have claimed the marriage allowance so that we can sort of work that out correctly. And finally, if you have any sort of foreign income, that would just give us a narrative section sort of down here. When you've done, you can literally press submit, and that will submit the submission to us. And then we'll get going on your tax return and be in touch with any questions. So hopefully this helps. We'll put it on the YouTube channel so that people can refer back to it, and look forward to receiving your tax return checklist and getting all your tax returns done for you.